Hey guys, Marstengen here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so Saiyan Day is fast approaching. We do have a Dokkan Now that is going to go live a couple of days before, where they probably will reveal some very big information, including probably the unit, or at least maybe one of the animations, who knows. But until then, all we can really do is speculate as to what the celebration is going to be. What is the theme for the celebration? Like, who's the unit going to be? Is it going to be themed around a saga? Is it going to be themed around a movie? Who knows? So I decided to ask some of the big Dokkan YouTuber buddies that I have to give me their ideas for if they could design a custom celebration for Saiyan Day, what would it be? And I essentially gave them pretty much no limits, but I did give them a bunch of categories. So let me show you what those are right now. So I asked them to give me the overall theme of the celebration. So like I said at the beginning, is it based around a saga from the anime? Is it based around a movie? Is it based around like a particular group of characters? Then I asked them to give me the new main summonable Dokkan Fest unit, the big banner card that will be the headliner of the celebration. Then I asked them to give me the new side banner unit, because obviously we always get an interesting side SSR, and some of those have been getting really good lately. So it'd be interesting to see what would come alongside the headliner. Then I asked them who will EZA during the celebration. Because obviously, again, in keeping with the theme, there could definitely be some interesting options, and with some of the crazy stuff that we've seen lately with the anniversary in terms of units getting EZAs, pretty much anything is on the table at this point. And then for the final entry, I asked them that if their new celebration was to come with an Infinite Dragon Ball History stage, what would that stage be? So again, if it's in keeping with, say, the movie, maybe it'll be the fights from that movie, or, you know, anything from there. So those are the headings that I gave them. Other than that, I didn't really give them any restrictions. And yeah, so we got a couple of big names in here, so let us straight away jump in with the first one and see what kind of interesting celebrations that we have come up with. So make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll probably do some interesting stuff like this in the future, and of course in the comment section let me know whose celebration you thought was the best overall. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one. Oh, and just as a quick editor's note that I'm throwing in here that I didn't mention in the intro itself, I didn't have the ability or the resources to get like full custom new card art for the new cards that people had suggested for their Dokkan Fest and side units, so I did just use existing card arts for characters that already have the same names. So maybe someday in the future when we've got much bigger resources to pull from, that would be something that would be cool to do. But yeah, unfortunately for this one, they are just old versions of cards that already exist, so sorry about that, but enjoy. Okay, so first up we have the custom Saiyan Day celebration from the homie himself, Mr. Goresh. So Goresh has chosen as his theme the first Broly movie, so Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan. So the new Dokkan Fest summonable unit would be an exchange Broly and Paragus. So I've got the SSR here, or the TUR, as a Paragus, and then he would exchange into Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. This is something that Goresh has talked about on the podcast before when we've speculated about units that we'd like to see. And so I know the kind of thing that he's thinking here is that the animation would be the part from the movie where Broly crushes Paragus in the escape pod. So it would be very cool seeing that animation in Dokkan. And then obviously, yeah, you would go from Paragus to Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Obviously at the moment there is no TUR Paragus. There is a summonable SSR who awakens into Paragus and Broly, but of course he is from the Dragon Ball Super retelling, so has a very different design. So this would be the first proper TUR of the OG Paragus. For the side unit, we have a King Vegeta. So I thought this was quite an interesting choice because obviously Dokkan, we have one King Vegeta card that is super old because it's a Super Strike unit. and it doesn't really have any relevance or any usability in basically any mode in the game at this point. So actually having a TUR King Vegeta would be very good. It would be a nice buff for the Vegeta family category, because obviously Goku family, there's a bunch of different Bardoks with different forms and all that sort of stuff, and the Vegeta family is missing out on that. The only thing they really have, I guess, is the Dark Mask King from Heroes, because of course technically that is Xeno King Vegeta. So actually having an old school Dragon Ball Z King Vegeta as a TUR would be pretty cool, and obviously side banner units are getting to the point now where they're becoming very good, so he could very easily be a viable option on Vegeta family or a bunch of those other Pure Saiyan based teams. For the EZA, so this is a very interesting one actually. Goresh, rather than picking a TUR or two, has picked LRSTR Broly. So he gave some very interesting context as well with this reply that I actually really like. So he said him being the first LR EZA on Global, so obviously summonable LR EZA, because JP's already had Goku and Frieza, but Global has not had one yet. So him being the first summonable LR to EZA on Global kind of lines up with him being the first summonable LR on Global, because remember, he was a Global first. His banner was a complete surprise. He came out back before I was making content, and I remember waking up and seeing that banner having dropped and being obviously completely shocked, because it wasn't something that had come out on JP before, and I did manage to pull him from his first banner, so he was my first summonable LR. So him getting an EZA for Saiyan Day would obviously be really hype, because he's not really usable in the meta now. Like, he's still good for World Tournament, but his defense is such that you can't really use him in more difficult events. So an EZA for him would be super hype, especially around a celebration themed around his movie. So I think the LR is technically the Broly from the second movie, right? Because he rises up out of the lava in the LR art, but I think that would still be a very good EZA for this celebration. And then finally, for the Infinite Dragon Ball History stage, we have, of course, the fights from the movie. I tried to order them in the right order. I had to rewatch the movie just to make sure. But we start off with base Broly, Super Saiyan Broly, and then Legendary Super Saiyan. No one really fights him properly until he goes up to Legendary Super Saiyan form. And then, of course, that's when the systematic beatdown of all of the Z fighters begins. So we got Trunks, Super Saiyan Gohan, Piccolo, Super Saiyan Vegeta, Super Saiyan Goku, and then Legendary Super Saiyan Broly again as the final boss. Depending on how you want to look at it, because of the way the movie ends, you could interchange Goku and Broly again, like as the final part. But I thought this would be a very good layout for the stage. So I'm guessing the name for the stage would probably just be Legendary Super Saiyan, or they could call it Movie 8, the Legendary Super Saiyan, or something like that. But I think this would be a very good stage. So shout out to Goresh for being part of this project. I think this would be a very cool celebration if it did drop exactly like this. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have the entry from the free-to-play king himself, Mr. J Fanta, and he has picked as the theme for his custom celebration the Saiyan Saga. So this is something that we obviously have been waiting for, to get proper representation in Dokkan for quite a long time now. A bunch of other sagas have official categories in the game, but the Saiyan Saga was still lacking. So that will be coming to the game with J Fanta's custom celebration. So the new banner TUR, the main Dokkan Fest unit, is going to be a new Scouter Vegeta. So this makes a lot of sense, because he is, you know, the main antagonist of the Saiyan Saga. We don't have like a really good sort of summonable TUR version of this unit. The physical Gallic Gun one with his EZA is pretty solid, but this will be a really good opportunity to have a really good representation of this unit. Like, you imagine how good his Gallic Gun super attack animation would be with what we have in the game currently. Be absolutely beautiful. He didn't give me any indication as to whether or not he would have like a Great Ape transformation or something like that, but obviously that could always be a feature of this card as well, whether it was done like the normal Great Ape system that we have in the game, or maybe as an active skill, because we still don't have a unit that has something like that. Imagine like an active skill where you go Great Ape and then have like an actual bunch of different stats and abilities, like a normal transformation, and then maybe it only lasts for a turn or two, or maybe it is a permanent transformation. Something like that would be very interesting, and this would definitely be a cool place to introduce something like that. So the side banner unit will be a new summonable Nappa. So Nappa doesn't have a huge amount of representation in the game either at the moment. He has that free-to-play unit from the barbershop. Back in the sort of 70% meta, and when the 120 leads started coming out, he was a decent replacement if you didn't have the Cooler or the Broly and you wanted to run like an extreme physical team. But since then, not really much. Obviously, he is the SSR and the TUR of the LR, Nappa and Vegeta, but you know, most people, you're just going to be awakening him up to LR, probably not going to pull enough copies to have a spare one, so not many usable Nappas floating around in people's boxes. So having a new summonable Nappa would be very cool. And then obviously his giant storm, like super attack thing with the two upturned fingers, like seeing that animation as well in the current like quality of animations that we're getting in Dokkan would be super awesome. Plus of course there's that potential for him to be another really good AoE unit that could be good for World Tournament Super Battle Road and things like that. So a new Nappa, definitely very good, and obviously very in-fitting with the theme. So moving on to the Easy A's, this is where Jay Fanta's free-to-play side kind of comes into play a little bit. So he said rather than being a normal Easy A, there would be a Extreme Z area for more of the units that are tied to the Hero Extermination event. And so I had a quick look through to see which Pure Saiyan units would still need Easy A's that are tied to medals from the Hero Extermination event. Now, they're not tied to the Saiyan Saga, unfortunately, but in keeping with Jay's request for those kind of Easy A's, that would be these two units here, the STR Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and the AGL Super Saiyan 2 GT Goku. So they are units that are tied to the Hero Extermination event because they awaken to TUR with medals from those stages, and they are Pure Saiyans. They're the two kind of next in line Pure Saiyan units from that event that would get Easy A's. And I think they're both units that could become very good. Like, we've seen how Easy A's can really change the game for certain units. Even some of the Hero Extermination units, like the Physical Fat Boo is a good example, that have gone from being very, very like mid to being actually really good. So these could be some very good additions, especially the Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta for like the Super Saiyan 2 team. And well, they're both Super Saiyan 2, so yeah, very, very good. GT Goku obviously getting a buff for any sort of potential GT related teams, so both of them would be very good additions as part of this celebration. And then finally, of course, we have the Infinite Dragon Ball History stage. So this one would just be titled the Saiyan Saga, I imagine. And as you can see, we go through kind of the main sort of list of fights. So we have Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, Kid Gohan, Piccolo, and then we go on to Nappa, base Goku, because Goku arrives, takes out Nappa, then we fight Vegeta, and then the final boss would be the Kaioken Goku. So as a little shout out to Jay, he didn't request this specifically, but these are the characters we agreed would be the list of people that you fight for a Saiyan Saga Infinite Dragon Ball History. And so as a nice little meme for him, I did make them all free-to-play versions of those characters, as you can see here. So technically the Kaioken Goku at the end is the one from the Slug movie, but I think he's the only free-to-play Kaioken Goku, and you can't tell that from just the thumbnail. So there you go, the list of enemies are full free-to-play for our boy Jay Fanta. So big shout out to you. Thank you for your submission to the video. Next up, we have the entry from the LR King himself, Mr. The Truth DT. So his custom celebration is all themed around movies in general. So we went for the general title of Movie heroes. So for the main banner unit, Truth is actually the only one who picked for the unit to be a Dokkan Fest LR. So kind of ironic that Truth, the biggest whale, picked a LR. He did say, obviously, this is a little bit harder for JP fans, I guess, because, you know, you just had the anniversary, a whole bunch of LRs, whereas Global going into Saiyan Day and getting a Dokkan Fest LR probably isn't as bad because a lot of us have been saving up for it. But the reason behind it being a Dokkan Fest LR is because he picked for this to be the time for them to release the Gogeta remake, basically like the STR Vegito. So it would start out as the base Angel, Goku and Vegeta, and then they would fuse into Gogeta. So very much like the STR Vegito. He's been saying, as much as a lot of us have in the community, that since they did that redo for Vegito for the Worldwide Celebration, that obviously a Gogeta version was going to come at some point as well. So he has made him the headliner for his custom Saiyan Day celebration. And then for the side banner unit, he went for an Angel Super Saiyan Goku. I think this is a good pick because obviously gives up buffs to a lot of categories that would need some help, like other World Warriors, another solid movie heroes unit. That makes him another solid movie hero unit Goku for units like the Tech LR Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So he could be a very good unit. He could be Angel Super Saiyan is what Truth specified here, but realistically he could be Super Saiyan 2 or even Super Saiyan 3 based on the events of the movie. That would help out a bunch of different categories, maybe even have a transformation between those forms, but side banner units don't necessarily get that kind of treatment. But an Angel Super Saiyan Goku is definitely a solid pick. For the Easy A's, we shift over to a slightly different movie, because obviously the banner unit and side banner unit are very much Fusion Reborn related, but since the overall theme is just movie heroes in general, Truth has picked this custom celebration to be the time when the Tech God Goku and the STR God Vegeta get their Easy A's. The Vegeta, I think, definitely needs it a little bit more than the Goku. Goku is still very much usable in events where you're going to be fighting a movie boss, but outside of that, I guess he's not necessarily as usable. So both of these guys getting buffs would be good. And then, of course, I just realized that falls into line with the meme of basically every celebration giving Realm of Gods some kind of buff. But yeah, I think these two are definitely very good picks for units to get an Extreme Z Awakening. And finally, for the Infinite Dragon Ball History stage, this one is fully based around Movie 12. So the name of the stage would be Fusion Reborn. And it goes through the general order of the fights. So we have base Angel Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku, and then Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku. Then Super Saiyan Angel Vegeta shows up for the assist. Then we have both of them fighting him together in base. Funnily enough, I re-watched the movie to get the order of these fights correct. And it wasn't until re-watching it that I actually realised they don't ever fight him together, both as Super Saiyans. So after Vegeta shows up, he's already in Super Saiyan, he takes a bit of a beating, and then they're both just in base until they fuse. So of course, the next stage after that would then be the man himself, Veku, and then of course, Pikkon comes in for the assist so that the final stage can be Gogeta. So this would definitely be a cool stage. Infinite Dragon Ball History stages usually 8 to 9 fights. This one is only 8, so maybe each one would be a little bit harder. The Gogeta could definitely be one of the hardest Infinite Dragon Ball History final bosses because it is Gogeta. This was his first reveal, super hype. Like, this one movie of him getting, what, like 10 minutes of screen time turned him into one of the hypest characters in the franchise. So it'd be pretty appropriate for him to be incredibly strong. So that is Truth's custom celebration based around movies in general. And big shout out to you for being part of this project as well. Last, and by certainly no means least, shout out to our boy, the man of many voices, Mr. Toon Rami himself. And he, like Mr. J Fama, also picked the Saiyan Saga to be the basis of his celebration. So for the main banner unit, he did also pick a Vegeta, but he did specify an actual Great Ape Vegeta. So just kind of like we mentioned in the J Fanta entry, this could be done in a bunch of different ways. It could be the same ape sort of system that we already have, or it could be some sort of interesting transformation or exchange kind of mechanic. But I think the fact that both of them picked it is pretty synonymous that if you're going to do a Saiyan Saga celebration, Vegeta is definitely got to be kind of the main feature. I mean, personally, I think maybe when Saiyan Saga does finally get representation, a lot of us are expecting a dual Dokkan Fest, where it's like a Great Ape Vegeta and a Kaioken Goku. But because I did limit these guys to just one Dokkan Fest banner, I think the Great Ape Vegeta is a very good pick. Now, for the side banner unit, so I should point out actually already that Toon did tell me that he thought he would get a bit wacky with his one. So there are some interesting picks along the way for sure from our boy Toon Rami. So for the side unit, we have the first summonable SSR Yajirobe. Now, obviously that seems like a weird choice, but when you think about the Saiyan Saga, technically Yajirobe was pivotal in the defeat of Vegeta. He doesn't have a good card. It would be a good buff for categories like Earthlings, as well as obviously being on the new Saiyan Saga team that would get introduced with this celebration. So, you know, with Yajirobe being the kind of character that he is, I could imagine him maybe filling more of a support role. But we've seen units like the Worldwide Celebration, Buu Piccolo and Tien, that they can quite easily make these side banner units really good support units that are also very solid units in their own right. So, yeah, why not have a Yajirobe, I guess. For the Easy A's, so Toon went with a few Easy A's for his pick. So we went for the AGL Great Ape Vegeta that already exists in the game. We also went for the Int free-to-play Great Ape Nappa, so maybe that would be an Extreme Z area rather than a standard 30-stage Easy A. And then just to turn things up to 11 and make things even more odd for this celebration, he also picked for the LR Nappa and Vegeta to get an Easy A. And I sort of laughed when he said this, but at the end of the day, as he quite rightly replied, LR Goku and Frieza getting an Easy A is a thing. So I guess really anything is on the table, and I asked these guys to create their own custom celebrations with essentially no limit. So really it's not that bizarre of a choice. Like, no one would have expected Goku and Frieza to get an Easy A before a whole bunch of other LRs, but it was very relevant to the theme of the celebration that they got their Easy A in. So Nappa and Vegeta getting an Easy A in this celebration does technically make perfect sense. So there you go. And now the Infinite Dragon Ball History stage, this is the one where Toon really did live up to his comments about making his one as wacky as possible, because his Infinite Dragon Ball History stage, it does not actually fit into the theme of the Saiyan Saga whatsoever, and it is the versus Team Bardock. So it does kind of fit in with an overall Saiyan Day celebration, because obviously last year was when Team Bardock and the LR for them was introduced, and we're still waiting to get final copies of them, so maybe getting the extra copies could be tied into the rewards for this stage. But it's not Saiyan Saga related, but obviously as a fan of Bardock, I like this idea anyway. So you fight each of the members of Team Bardock on their own, as you can see here, and then once you've defeated Bardock, you fight all of them together, because that is the artwork for the LR. I guess technically the enemy character sprite is still just going to be Bardock, but if they super attack you, I imagine it would be like the LR's 18 key super, where it's all of them in their Great Ape forms, which would be pretty cool. And then once you've defeated the full team, you then fight Bardock himself as a Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, and then Super Saiyan 3. So whilst it's not Saiyan Saga related, it does kind of make sense for Saiyan Day, tying back to what they did last year. And I quite like this idea as a stage. So shout out to you, Toon Rami, keeping it interesting to say the least, and thank you as well for being part of this project. Okay, so those were the custom celebrations. Big thank yous to Garesh, J Fanta, Truth, and Toon Rami. I hope you guys appreciated their custom celebrations. And like I said at the beginning of the video, make sure to let us know down below in the comments which one was your favorite. You would be super hyped to actually summon for and take part in those events. I'm very interested to hear your guys' feedback. So shout out to all of them. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for my Discord and the merch store. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.